Guys, so today we are going to, after the end of this course, we will finish coding an NFT site. I haven't watched it. I haven't walked through it, but it sounds interesting. So let's see by the end of this, what did we create? What can we create with this?
Hello, awesome coders, and welcome to the Essential CSS.
Hello, little coders. It's been a while. I haven't seen you for a while. How are you doing?
Concepts module. Now is the time to move your CSS skills up a notch and learn some new techniques that are really going to boost your ability to make great looking sites. We are going to be building two projects. Firstly, we'll be building this super stylish NFT site.
Ooh,
and then in the second part of the module, you'll face a series of CSS challenges as you build this portfolio site. Your teacher.
Yeah. Go on. I take suggestion. I might consider it though, but like I always listen for suggestion. Can you type and tell me your answer? Oui. Wait, yeah. In my country, so I cannot up volumes. My chat. Hey.
For the NFT site is me, Tom Chant, and the challenges for the portfolio site are brought to you by none other than Kevin Powell, whose YouTube.
You want to add background music? Sometimes, but usually wait, let me switch. Jupiter and Mars. No, I mean for site, not for you. Oh, for my website? I don't. On my website, I haven't built. So he was asking if I want to add background colors, background music. And background music is an amazing thing, but it really depends on the site that you want to do. Let's say it's an animation site, and the animation would look whack if it doesn't have a music background music, right? Or like sound effects or something like that. But with portfolio site, a site that hold the portfolio of someone, you don't really need background music. You don't really need it. Unless you're like a musician or something like that, and you wanna hype people up when they go into your website. Even the musician, well, all you have to do. Right, we will focus back to the course.
YouTube channel has hundreds of thousands of followers. Now, one thing before we start, why not head over to Scrimba's Discord server and let people know that you're about to start the course in the Today I Will channel. This slide is a clickable link, so if you pause and click on it, it will take...
Right, we will say today I will. Okay, I recently thought about it for no reason. Yeah, it is. Right, we go and we do today I will finish the essential CSS concept intro. The NFT site from essential CSS concept intro. Boom. What is your user? For YouTube. Oh, Discord. Let me check. It's tone 11. Yeah, this is my Discord right here, guys. If you guys want to add me Add me.
Take you straight to the correct Discord channel. And then when you're ready, what are we waiting for? Let's jump in.
Today I'm extremely focused. Okay. 1 slash is 1204. Right. Now I will focus on this. Let me take a bathroom break first, and then we will be finishing this 5 hours module. Right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Back. Da, 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 da.
Hello, awesome coders, and welcome to the Essential CSS Concepts module. Now is the time to move your CSS skills up a notch and learn some new techniques that are really going to boost your ability to make great looking sites. We are going to be building 2 projects. First, we'll be building this super stylish NFT site, and then in the second part of the module, you'll face a series of CSS challenges as you build this portfolio site. Your teacher for the NFT site is me, Tom Chant, and the challenges for the portfolio site are brought to you by none other than Kevin Powell, whose YouTube channel has hundreds of thousands of followers. Now, one thing before we start, why not head over to Scrimba's Discord server and let people know that you're about to start the course in the Today I Will channel. This slide is a clickable link, so if you pause and click on it, it will take you straight to the correct Discord channel. And then when you're ready, what are we waiting for? Let's jump in.
Why is it not running the next slides? What?
Okay, let's get started. We are going to build this NFT site with this super smart purple layout. And as we build it, we're going to explore a ton of CSS that you haven't come across
selection,
yet. And
background colors, black colors.
Some of the skills you've already learned.
Bro, this code looks easy as shit. No, not now, not now. No, can't.
Now,
I have to study this.
It's got sections with different background colors that go full width and a fixed width content container that's centrally aligned. We've also got various styles of links and different image layouts to think about.
Hey.
Under the hood, we'll be styling this as efficiently as we can, and this will involve plenty of refactoring. Our topic is the crazy world of overpriced NFTs, non-fungible tokens. These uniquely identifiable blockchain digital files have been grabbing headlines with their eye-watering prices. It all strikes me as kind of crazy, but what do I know? Apologies if you've just invested all of your life savings in what are essentially insanely expensive JPEGs. Maybe you'll get the last laugh. Maybe they'll make you rich one day. My fingers are crossed for you. What are we going to study? Well, we'll be checking out semantic HTML. We'll be putting hover and active states on links using pseudo selectors. We'll take a dive into something called specificity and see CSS conflicts in action.
Semantics
we'll look at compound
HTML.
selectors, we'll use inline block, and much, much more. So why are we waiting? Let's take a deep breath and jump straight in.
Inline and block. Dog shit.
Okay, so this is the layout we're going to be building, and as you can see, if we look at the mini browser, we have got a lot of work to do. There's loads of HTML in this file, but right now, the only styling we've got is what the browser is giving us by default. So we've got larger font sizes on the H1, and if we...
Let's see this. I'm focusing, man. Don't be a kid. Be a man. Let me see this. This is like normal. This is like nothing. Get out of here.
We scroll down a bit, we have got the blue and the underline on the links. But before we jump into the CSS and start styling, we need to do some work with this HTML. Now, if you look at this slide, you can see how this layout divides up really clearly into 4 sections. We have got a header at the top, then we've got 2 sections which have both got images and text, and then at the bottom we've got a footer. Now, if we look at the HTML, you can see that we are using these div tags to divide up the HTML. Now you might think that's fine, right? That's what div tags are for. Well, no. They do work, but
No.
This
I would
is
do
not
this.
best practice. Let's talk for a moment about semantic HTML. Semantic HTML tags allow us to be much more descriptive as the tags match much more closely the content that they hold. Now, there are a lot of semantic HTML tags, many of which are rarely used, but there are some main ones that you should definitely know about, and today we're going to use 4 of them. The first one we're going to use is the header tag. This is for the site title, logo, and navigation. The second one we're going to use is the section tag. So this is for standalone sections of content. The third one we'll use is the footer tag.
No.
This
I have to
contains all of
focus.
the footer information,
Stop
like
it.
the copyright and the terms and conditions and everything that you basically see right down at the bottom of the page. And the last one we're going to use is the main tag. Now, the main tag holds the page's unique content. So, for example, a main tag might hold several section tags. But a main tag definitely shouldn't hold a header or a footer because they are normally not unique content. They are the same on each page of the site. As for the syntax, you've got it right here. These work just like any other HTML tag. They are opened and closed in exactly the same way. You might be asking yourself, you've got it right here. These work just like any other HTML tag. They are opened and closed in exactly the same way. You might be asking yourself, why does this matter?
I can
Who's
do it.
going to look at my HTML? Well, actually, this matters quite a lot. If we use the correct semantic HTML, we're going to be making our site more accessible. Speed readers and other assistive technologies use semantic HTML a lot, so that is really important, and when you get it right, it's a big win. Also, semantic HTML makes our code more readable. This is really important when you're working as part of a team. Your colleagues are going to find your code much easier and quicker to interpret. Lastly, semantic HTML is used by search engines as a navigation aid when they are indexing sites, so it's really important for search engine optimization. Now you might be asking yourself, well, what about the div tag? Well, we still use them a lot, but we use them when a more specific tag doesn't fit. And we will be using them later in this course, so you are going to see that in action. Now we need to do some work on our HTML, so I've set you this challenge. I want you to convert all of the div tags to semantic HTML tags. Also, think carefully about where to place the main tag. This is not going to result in any visible changes in the mini browser. This is just about getting the right HTML tag. So pause now, have a go at this, and I'll see you back here in just a moment.
Convert our div tag to semantic. Headers. Footers. Footers. Right. Section, right? This is a section.
Okay, hopefully you did that for head. So the section, we've just got this copyright message. So let's change div to footer, and likewise close the tag. Now the last part of the challenge was to think about where to put the main tag. Well, we know that needs to go around the unique content. So we're not going to include the header and the footer because they will be the same on every page. So let's come in here above the section and we will add a main opening there. And if we scroll down to the bottom, above the footer, we will close the main. Now we need to do something about the formatting, so let's tab that in twice. And if I just scroll up, I'll tab that in twice. And then everything in between the main section, we can tab in once more. Now we've got the HTML looking nice and clean and tidy. Okay, that's a great start. Let's move on.
Guys, if you be organized like this guy,
okay, so this is the layout we're going to be.
it would be nice. It would be easier for you to basically do all of this. Semantics.
Okay, so let's get going on the styling. We want to
Styling.
start off by defining some general rules that are going to apply to the whole layout unless we override them. So it's common practice to set out a default font, font size and font color, and I've put all of the info that we need right here in this slide.
Roboto.
So here's the challenge for you. I want you to create a body selector and I want you to make it so that the default font size and color match the info that we've got in the slide. And I want you also to go to Google Fonts and bring in this Roboto font, and that will be our default font for the whole app. Now remember, if for any reason Roboto font is not available, we should fall back on a sans serif font. Now I've also given you two font weights here, 400 and 500, and that is going to be useful info when you go to Google Fonts. Lastly, look at what's happening here. Our text is not touching the edge of the page. We've got this small margin. Now, of course, in the finished product, we don't want the text touching the very edge of the page. That would just look weird. But we want to take control of those margins and set it ourselves. So for now, let's get rid of this default margin. Okay, you've got all of the skills you need to do this. So pause now, give it your best shot, and we'll have a look together in just a minute.
All right. So first of all, we need to do body, and then margin 0. That's good. Hey, computer, stop being slow. Why is it so slow? Why is my computer so slow? Okay, guys. Now we need to find the Roboto fonts. Robotos. There we go. Probably one of the most stylish, most popular fonts. Right, we do 400. We 400. 400 at what pixel? $400 at 16 pixel. Right here. 400. Regular 400. Yep, and regulars 500. All right. Regular 400, regular 500. Yeah, let's do medium 500. We do, what is it? Font face. Is that like the way that you do it? Add font face. I don't remember any of this, so guys, I will search Google for all of this. None of this. URL. Do, do, do. How do we do this? Forgot how to do this. Fonts family. Format wolf something. Oh, source SRC. Why is it like this? And then we do URL. This. Jesus. Should lie out. Right, now we run. We do body text is going to be boom ba boom 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 ba boom boom ba boom 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 ba boom boom ba. We do headers. Fonts is going to be the bold one. Headers is going to be font family Roboto. And then we do sans serif. Font weight 500. Yeah, why is it not switching it? H 1 2 3 4 5 H1. Let's do H1. Da 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 da. Hey, sweet home Alabama. Do 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 do. Fun stuff, fun stuff. Larger. Size 16 pixel. Wow. Sweet home Alabama. Do 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 do. Colors. This is going to override everything, so we do headers. Colors. This is going to be white. Create body section based on fonts, right? Bring in Roboto from the Google Fonts. Override HTML default values. Yep. Font size, set the base font size and color to the value given on the slide. Yep. Font weight is going to be 400, 500. Font size. Font size. Font family. Roboto. Sweet home Alabama. Font size is going to be 16 pixel. Run. Yeah, we are done.
The size font, which is E283 for accessibility. To Google Fonts, you came, it's going to use the header, and let's just tidy it up a little bit. And of course, we need to save index.html, and then back in index.css, we can actually check with Google the precise CSS rules we need to follow. So it's saying the font family will be Roboto with a capital R, and we need it inside those inverted commas. And there we are. If we comment and uncomment that, you can see that the font is indeed changing. Now, the last thing that we need to do is deal with this margin, which is a bit of a relic from the early days. So let's just override that by setting the margin to 0. And there we are. Now we can see the text is touching the edge of the browser. And
Right. We go here, we do this. Hey, this is going to take not too long.
Okay, let's look at some pretty strange CSS behavior to do with margins, because sometimes CSS can act weird. Now, I'm going to play a trick on a friend of mine who loves dogs. So I'm trying to create this clone of a BBC News story about a dog who inhaled helium and ended up stuck to the ceiling. Now, this is not a true story, okay? Don't give your dog helium. It's not nice and it's not safe. Now, as you can see, if I open the mini browser, I'm having some problems. I want the header to look like it does in the slide. So what do I need to do to get rid of this weird white space at the top and make the header thicker? If we look back at the slide, there's no white space at the top and the header is nice and thick. Well, let's just check the code. So over in index.html, we have got a header section, and inside we've got an h1 and these links, and that is where we need to be focusing. And then in the CSS, the h1 has got a color and a font family, and the header has just got this background color, and that is all. Now, I should also point out that on the body, we have set the margin to 0, so there should be no default margin. So where then is this white space coming from? How about I try putting a margin top 0 on the header to bring the top of the header here up to the top of the browser window. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, that has had absolutely no effect. Pretty strange, huh? Well, how about we try giving this H1 some space? So I'm going to come in here on H1 and I'm going to give it a margin all round of 25 pixels. Oh, what's going on here? That made a difference on the left, but the space at the top actually got bigger. So how on earth did that happen? Let's change this to 125 pixels. Wow, now it's really big. But that is quite interesting, isn't it? The more we're adding margin to the H1, the bigger this white space is getting. Let's try taking that right down to 0. Aha, now the header is flush with the top of the browser. So this is some really weird behavior that you should be aware of. When an element touches its parent, its top and bottom margin will merge with the margins of the parent element. Okay, that's a lot of words. Let's look at this in practice. So if we pop over to the HTML file, we can see that we have got this H1 right here inside the header.
That sounds
now,
weird.
This is the first thing in the header, and the header is the parent, and the H1 is touching the parent. And when I say touching, I just mean there is nothing between it and the parent. When the child element touches the parent element, either at the top or the bottom, but not the left or right, the margin can merge with the top margin or bottom margin of that header. So here the margin of the H1 is merging with the margin of the header. Now it doesn't matter that we gave the header a margin top of 0. It now has a margin of 0 plus the H1's margin. So if I put that back to say a margin of 50, well, the header now has a margin top of 0 plus 50. The more margin we add to the H1, the bigger the margin on the header gets. That is pretty strange, but hey, that is CSS. Now let's just put that back.
That's why I hate CSS, guys. It has some of the most stupid rules ever, and it's like remembering only stuff, and you need to learn like some of the tips and tricks. Sometimes it's like there's like a tiny bit of hint that you have to like Google out.
This margin top on the header because it's not doing anything anyway. Luckily, there's a
like this stupid things happen, and then you probably need to Google it out, or you have someone to tell you, like, or you test it out like everything by yourself. Pretty annoying.
Really easy solution for this situation. To prevent those margins merging, what we need to do is add padding to the parent element. That is going to create space between the edge of the parent and the child, so they won't be touching anymore and the margin won't get passed on. So let's go back to the CSS, and here is a quick challenge for you. I'm just going to create us a little bit of space here. So your challenge is to add a padding of 20 pixels left and right and 15 pixels top and bottom to the header. Pause now, have a go at that, and I'll...
Okay. Padding. Left, right, so 20 pixel. As its top, 15 pixel. And then 20 pixel, right?
I'll see you back here in just a moment.
How can you make your banner change when I switch to dark mode? What do you mean by that? There's no banners here, I'm assuming. Save this.
Okay, hopefully a margin of 10 pixels at the bottom, just so the text isn't so bunched up together right here. So let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, so by adding padding to the parent, we've prevented the child element's margin from being passed on to the parent. One last thing that I want you to be aware of, this is not an issue when you're using Flexbox or Grid, because they deal with margins differently and the margins don't collapse. Okay, now that is looking better, I can send this spoof to my friend and let's get back to our layout and see if we can use some of this information.
There's something wrong with my nose. I know I might have a nosebleed right now, but fuck it.
Now we've got the default style set up and the margin set to 0. Let's start at the top of the layout and work our way down.
Wait, I have to take.
So first up, we're going to deal with the header, and this image here is what we're aiming for. When we're done, this text is still going to be squashed up against the left-hand edge of the browser. That's fine.
Right, I'm back. I'm back.
So just like before, I've given you some information here, and this is what you're going to need to complete the challenge. So let's dive straight in. I want you to create a header selector to target this header tag right here. I want you to give it its background color, which of course is this purple here. And I also...
Hey, like it's really interesting that I used to really love some of the stuff like CSS, HTML. Oh, like I want my website to look pretty. Back then, like 4 or 5 years ago. 2 years ago, I would be like, oh, but like you need to make the website look pretty. Now I'm like, nah. The only thing that separate is functionality. Separate good website from bad website is how they are designed and how good are they at functioning. Most websites nowadays, like they all have like a really nice design, but sometimes the UX user experience isn't as good as how their website is designed. Yeah, that's why I really like JavaScript or like Python nowadays instead of like CSS. If I want my website to be functional, not look nice.
Want you to use the correct CSS property to remove the annoying white space that is actually going to appear at the top of the layout. Now, I'm not going to tell you what property to use, but I will tell you that you need to use the value of 45 pixels top and bottom.
Right, create headers. This is going to be, give it background colors. Hash 5F29A3 5F29 5F29A3. Right, colors. See, the stupid language, like you have to write this commas behind of it, or it's not going to work. Such a stupid syntax. White smoke. Well, probably you do need to remove the annoying white space. So padding. Oh my god, I keep forgetting this. Stupid. Padding. .45 pixel. Give this property a value of 45. Okay. Create selectors elements for A1 and A3. So I'm assuming this is going to be H1. What happened to my nose? Why so? What? This is itchy. D0AAFF. D0AAFF. Right, guys.
When you've done that, create selectors for the H.
How do I delete this? Notes. Nah, let's just move on.
H1 and H3 elements and assign them their correct margin, size, and color. Let's go. We need to look back at this slide. H of the slide. So let's go ahead first with the color, and the color we want for that
top bottoms. So 0 pixel. Yep.
H1 is white. Between these two, let's just check back at this slide. And that we want a font size of 20 pixels. Now, at the moment, we've got quite a lot of space between these two. Let's just check back at this slide. We basically don't want any space at all. So for both of these,
they have a margin.
The margin.
They have padding.
And if
actually, they have padding.
H1, and then we come down here
margin.
and do that also on the
I would say margin.
H3.
What is? Wait, this is actually interesting. H1 default. CSS. So we will know what to do. Display block, font size 2em, margin top 6078, 0.67, margin bottom. Okay, so it's like it has a margin 0.767 and then zero. Right. It's actually interesting to know, like, because this might be really important later on.
Now you can see that the
hey,
default
computer,
margin that
why are
comes
you so
with
laggy?
both of those header sizes has been taken away, and now the header is looking a lot like what we've got on this slide.
Okay.
Okay, let's come on to this first main section. Now, again, this space on the left we're going to leave for later, because we're actually going to deal with all of this content spacing in one go. So let's just concentrate for now on getting this main image right. If we look at this slide, we can see that the image of these purple sneakers is actually taking up the whole width of the screen. But what we haven't got is this horizontal scroll down here that we're getting at the moment, because at the moment this image is really, really big. So your challenge is to create a section selector and give it the same padding as we gave to the header. Then in index.html, I want you to find the image of the purple sneakers and attach a class to it and make it so that this image takes up 100% of the section width. Pause now, give that a shot, and I'll see you back here.
Right, we pause, we go selection, and we do, where is it? Selection, section. Give us the same padding. Computer, stop being so laggy. Right. Now what do we do? In index, find the image of the purple sneaker and attach a class to it. Class purple sneaker. Same padding as the headers. In index HTML, make it so this image take up 100% of the section width. Let me do purple sneaker. This is going to take up with 100%. Right. Right, now we run.
Here in just a moment, I'm 45 pixels up here in the first section. I'm just going to move the mini browser out of the way. So we've named, because anybody looking at us need to select this class. So I'm going to with a dot 100%. And as soon as we do that, the horizontal scroll bar disappears and the image is now contained within our browser. Okay, we've completed the challenge and we're making great progress.
I had some good coffee today.
I'll see you in the next
Pretty nice. Right, we are doing a lot of stuff today. I want pure focus.
Now this main image is more manageable.
Be a warrior.
Let's focus on the text that we've got in this section. So we've got an H2, and remember it's usually best practice to start a section with a heading. Then we've got this paragraph of text at the bottom. They are going to be our focus. We'll style these links later. So this is what we're aiming for. Now, if you look at the mini browser, you might think, well, it doesn't look so much different. And to be honest, you'd be right. This is actually a very small challenge. The challenge here, in a way, is to do the least amount of work possible. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to add CSS so the text in the first section, that's the H1 and this paragraph, render correctly. Now, watch out for the amount of white space between the start of the section here and the H2. At the moment, what we've got in our actual layout is much bigger than what it should be. Now, my last warning is don't write too much code. It's easy to overdo this challenge and write a ton of CSS that we don't need. Try to avoid doing that. Okay, pause now, give it your best shot, and we'll...
Alright, add CSS to the text in the first section, renders correctly. Watch out for the amount of white space you have between the start of the section And the H2, where's the H2 section? Okay, H2 is a little bit too big. Section padding 45. The CSS, the text section, text in this first section renders correctly. Watch out the amount of white space you have between the start of the section and the H2. Watch out. White space between the H. Start of the section. And the H2. Here we have a this, and then about this. True cryptos connoisseur. For the true crypto connoisseur. Yeah, it's a little bit too big. Should we do 25? Lot smaller now. Now we need to do is the H2 at 35k. The strong one, the P strong, is going to be has a padding of something like a 25 as well. Now CSS, so the text in the first section renders correctly. What do you mean by renders correctly? You probably won't fix any of this. Oh, H2. Oh, H2. And then this is going to be 24 pixel. Font size 24 pixel. Right, and then P is going to be 16 pixel. What do we do next? Font families. We already have it. Font colors. DDFF, something like that. Oh no. This is no, not white smoke. This one. This is the one. Right, we perseveres.
We'll meet back here in just a moment and have a look together.
Alright, and then what do we do on this? Watch out for the amount of white space you have between the start of the section and the H2. Start of the section and the H2. It's a little bit. It's not a lot, right? Padding 25 pixel. Oh, not it. P padding. Nah, I'm clueless on this. He has to show me.
Underneath all of our headings, and let's give these the sizes that they need. So P needs a font size of 16 pixels, and H2 needs a font size of 24. Nothing changed. P is set to 16 pixels, but we've already set 16 pixels on the body right here at the top, so we don't need to repeat ourselves. Now H2 will actually default to 1.5 times the size we set on the body. Now 1.5 times 16 is 24, which is exactly what we want. So actually both of these size properties here are unnecessary. We can take away that one and the one on the P.
I just need somewhat pattern.
Now guess what? On here we've got the color 2B283A, but you guessed it, up on the body, we have set the default color to be 283A. So actually setting it again on the H2 and the P is not going to do anything. So we don't actually need to set the color on either of those two selectors. It's always a good idea to check that you're not repeating yourself. That code wouldn't do any harm in itself, but it could cause confusion down the line when we're trying to debug. So it's a good idea to keep it simple and keep everything in one place as much as possible. So, sorry, I feel I kind of cheated you there, but I wanted to show you how we can easily overdo the CSS. So, do you have to do anything to complete this challenge? Well, I did say be careful of the white space between the H2 and the start of the section. So the question is, where is this white space coming from? If you didn't work that out before, pause now and think about it for a second.
The padding.
Padding is coming from the section. So if we were to comment that out, actually that white space, take that margin down to 0. Now, if again we comment out the padding we've got on the section, well, there we are. We've got the white space down to 0. Now that's not what we want. We want the padding on the section, but we do want that at 0. But now we're actually seeing that this image is right up against this H2. In fact, if we were to quickly put a border on this image, let's just say 1 pixel solid gray, well, that's far too close. So I'm actually going to go back to this H2 and I'm going to set the margin 0 only on the top. Now let's get rid of this border, and I think that is looking much better. This P selector here is completely surplus to request. Then we find it's coming from multiple places. The debugging gets harder. So in a case like this, it's a really good idea to have all of the margin coming from one place, but you don't by any means have to always remove the default margin. And in fact, we're keeping the default margin at the moment on this paragraph text down here, because if we were to come in here and put a margin of 0 on that P, well, everything gets crushed up way too much, and that default margin is actually working for us right now. Of course, we could override it, but we don't need to. It's working fine at the moment. Okay, that completes the challenge. A bit later, we'll revisit this text here to talk about line height, but for now, the challenge is complete, so let's move on.
Let's move on. Leave this page.
Let's take a look at hover and active states for links. So at the moment, I am building a new site for the Haunted Tree Wizard Shop. And I've got this header component here, which has just got a logo, the title, and then this nav component which lists out some of the products that they offer. Now, the client is happy with the color scheme, but I think we've got a bit of a problem with how these links work. At the moment, as I put my cursor over them, I can see that my cursor changes to a pointer, which is nice, but we can improve the overall user experience by making it much more obvious that these are links, and we can do that by making them change when the cursor hovers over them. We can do that using the hover state. Now, if we have a look down here, you can see that my cursor is hovered over the word frogs, and frogs has changed to a light pink color and has an overline. This is an essential CSS skill, and we can do it with a pseudo selector. So what is a pseudo selector? Well, we've got one right here. We take, in this case, the anchor tag, although it could be any element. We put a colon and then the name of our pseudo state that we want to target. In this case, it is hover. And then inside the curly braces, we can put any CSS we want, and that will be used for the hover state of the links that we're targeting. So the syntax really is that simple. It is just a colon and the name of the pseudo state that you want to target, and that's it. Now, hover is just one of many pseudo selectors that we could use. There are actually a ton of them. Now, this slide here is just the beginning of a long list. It is actually a clickable link, so if you want to pause and click on it, it will take you to a W3 Schools page where all of the pseudo selectors are listed, but don't worry, many of them you rarely, if ever, use. Okay, let's go back to our wizard shop. So if I come down here underneath our anchor selector, and I'm going to say a colon and write the word hover and open up the curly braces. Now I'm going to select the color property and I'm going to set that to light pink. And we should now see as I hover over the anchor elements in this nav that they turn to light pink. Now also on our slide we have this overline. I'm being a bit flashy, we could have an underline, but I've gone for an overline. So that is the text decoration property and overline. Now there we are, our hover state is complete. Cool, now, as I say, you could put any CSS that's going to work with text in here, and that will be shown on the hover state. Okay, what about the active state? Well, the active state fires when somebody clicks on a link. They see some changes just before they're taken to wherever the link leads. So let me quickly cut and paste you a challenge. Okay, so you've seen how to set up a hover pseudo selector. Now I want you to go ahead and set up an active pseudo selector. And I want you to make it so that when we click on the link, the color changes to a dark shade of gray and the font weight becomes bold. So pause now.
Add an active state, pseudo state. Make it so that when a user clicks on a link. Right, so we do a click and then be a click state, click CSS, active selectors, active, not a click one but an active one. And then what do we have? What do we have? The color change from colors change from dark gray to a dark gray, and the font's weight increased to bold. Font weight colors first is going to be dark gray, gray. Then we do this, then we do bold. Run. Yeah, right at we click, right at when we click.
Now have a go at that and I'll
boom. We go
in just a moment. And the front link or button, you might want to style it. Don't be tempted to refocus. Now, the focus state is a key part of accessibility, and the browser will have its own default focus state, but you might want to style it. Don't be tempted to remove the outline that the focus state has. That will make your site less accessible and is a big no-no. Now, I won't demo the focus state here as the Scrimba editor doesn't record it. In terms of CSS, the focus state works in exactly the same way as the hover and active states, so why not give it a go? To see it in action, just click anywhere in the browser window and then hit tab, and you'll be able to tab through those links.
Huh?
Click anywhere in the browser window and then hit tab, and you'll be able to
tab. Tab. Wait, what?
Tab through those links. Now, one thing to mention before we finish is that it's not just links and buttons that we can put hover and active state onto. We can put them on any elements and they don't have to be clickable. So if, for example, we wanted our header here to have a hover state, well, we could come down underneath header and we could select it with hover, and then let's change the background color to light blue. And now when the cursor goes over the header, there we are, we get that change. Now, I'm not saying it's a good idea, I'm just saying that you've got options. Okay, we're going to put some of these skills to good use back in our layout. When you're ready, I'll see you there.
Right. We are good. Now we go here. Harvest and active state. Pretty easy stuff, pretty easy.
Okay, let's come on to this inline link in the first paragraph. So links need to be styled so they stand out. That's obviously good for both general user experience and for accessibility. At the moment, if we have a look in the mini browser, we can see that we have got the default blue with the solid underline, and that is the default with most browsers. So let's style up this link using the information we've got in our slide. So we want the link to be this orange color, we've got a darker yellow for the hover and active state, and this dotted underline effect. So that's your challenge. I want you to set the color of the link in the paragraph, make the link color change on hover and active states, and I've put here, search online to find out how you can give the underline a dotted appearance.
A dotted appearance, right? What do we do? Crafting and NFTs. It's going to be A. This A is going to have a, what do we call this? Oh, hover state first. Oh, text decoration. Text decoration. Text decoration none, and then color is going to be the same as then we add a state called hovers. Yep, and then we do colors going to be this link text EF 5839 EF 5839. Right, when we do hovers, colors change to /4 something, D4B44C, D4B44C, D4B44C. All right, run. Okay, and then now I want a dotted line. Text underline. Text decoration. Underline dotted. Run. Right.
In previous modules, you have learned how to style links, but you haven't been taught 2 minutes. Okay, our slide. And there we are, we can see that already reflected in the browser. Now I'm going to come on to the hover state, changing to the dark yellow, head back in the A selector, and we'll use the text decoration property, and we're going to set that to is a good place to take a break if you've been at this for a while. When you're feeling refreshed, come back and we'll move on.
Woo!
Okay.
Let me take a bathroom break and then we will be back. Hmm.
Check this out. I am working on this really cool life hacks page, and it's got a fantastic idea for upcycling those old white Apple earphones and getting yourself a few days off work. All you have to do is stick an earbud up each nostril, and then using a plaster, stick the plug end to the back of your hand. It makes it look like you're in hospital. This is pretty much guaranteed to work. Your boss is going to believe it 100%. I just hope mine is not watching. Now, I'm having a little trouble with this layout. What I'm aiming for is this. We've got the content in the center of the page, but the background color is going full width. Now that's quite a common layout pattern, so it's something worth thinking about. So if we come over to our CSS, well, we could possibly try something like putting some margin on the left and right. Well, that sort of works because now we've got our content central, but we've got these really horrible white margins that we don't want at all. So let's undo that. Now, we could solve this problem by coming in on each individual element and giving it the correct margin or padding or whatever we need. Now, that would work, but it could involve writing a lot of CSS. Remember, we want to try and keep things as dry as possible because CSS files can get overcrowded at the best of times. So what's the easiest way to solve this problem? Well, what we need is a container. So what we're going to do is create a container class. Now, this is nothing special, it's just going to be another div with the class named container. And I'm going to call it container A because it's descriptive and B because container is used a lot in CSS for this purposes. So it's quite good to get into the habit of thinking of this as a container. Now, if you have multiple background colors, as we do here, we can't just have all of our content in one container. We are going to have to set up a container for each section, but that's fine. We're still saving ourselves a lot of work. So let's head over to the HTML and see what we need to do. And I think we should start with the header. So I'm going to come inside the header, and this is where I'm going to set up our div, and I'm going to give it a class of container. After the content, and the content here, if I move the mini browser out of the way, is just this one line. That's all of the header content. So I'll close off our
Wait, what if he just add like a padding? Let me change the aperture, the ISO I mean. Sweet home Alabama.
And of course, to keep things tidy, I'll tab in once. Now, if I save that, of course, nothing's going to happen because we haven't done any CSS yet. So let's pop back to the CSS file, and I have set up a challenge for you here. I want you to set up a container selector. I want you to give it a width of
containers.
pixels, and I have all of our content in one container. We are going to have to set up a container for each section, but that's fine. We're still saving ourselves a lot of work.
Okay. Container for each section. Container. Each section is going to be this. Oh, not that. Do this. Is it out? Something like that. Control D. this div. What does this div do? Div here. Bum 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 bum. Da 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 da. Containers is going to be with 500 pixel. Align it central. Text align centers. Right. No, it's not text align centers. Supposed to be margin. No, it's not margin left, margin right, right? Align. Can I do align? Not text align, right?
So let's, and I'm going to pull off the header content. I haven't done any CSS yet. So let's pop back to the CSS file, and I have set up a challenge for you. Line thing, have a go. So looking on it, why don't we give it a border of 1 pixel solid right, just so we can see it in action. And there we are. We've got it right there now in the header. There is our container. Now we do need to align it centrally, and the easiest way to do that is to use the margin property.
Yeah, margin left, right. Margin 0 auto.
And the margin we're going to set to 0 top and bottom because we don't want to mess around with that. But left and right, we'll set the margin to aligned in the center. No, I think the original layout is better, so I am going to take that rest of this content. Now, here's your second challenge. I want you to go ahead and do the same for this content here.
Oh, so he wants it to be aligned centers. Margin 0 auto. Really?
The CSS
Containers. Section 1. Is it a class or an ID? Class section 1. Dot section 1 has a margin, has a width of this and that too. And some padding. Top doesn't need a padding. 0. Left, right is going to be. No, actually, padding is need a padding, but it's need also 50 pixel. How big is this thingy? 60. What the hell? 70, 90. Padding, auto. No auto padding. So we do. What do we do here? 0.
This is all done. All we need to do is go over to the HTML. Let's move the browser out of the way, and then we'll come into section 1 and set up our container. And in fact, I'm just going to copy and paste it right right down from the header. Now, if we come to the end of the section, we can close the div and let's just tab everything inside the container once, and we'll hit save. And look, when we open up the mini browser,
yeah, this. What am I doing? I'm trolling. Copy.
there we are. We've got the layout looking just how we own skills to good use. Okay, it's time to do something about the way all of this content is crushed up against the left-hand edge of the browser window. It's really starting to irritate me. So let's have a look at what we're aiming for. On this slide, I've added a faint grey outline to the content which is not part of the final design at all. I just want to demonstrate what we're looking to achieve. So we've got an inner container which holds our content. It doesn't need any padding or margin itself, and the width of this container is given to you here. It is 620 pixels, and it is aligned centrally on the horizontal axis. So you can see what the challenge is. In index.html, I want you to wrap the contents of the header and the sections in container divs. Then come back.
Right, wrap it in a container div. Jiffy and the diffy. We do div and class container. We go here, we do this, and then slash div. We do copy the section right here. Pull everything in here inside, and then slash div. Hello EDM's game.
Here and create a selector for whatever class you put on the new divs, and then add the properties needed to fix the content width at the specified 620 pixels and to center it. Now I've just put a warning here. The background, like we've got on this header, for example, needs to go full width. So the content will be 620, but the background will be full width. Okay, pause now, give this your...
Right, the background colors of this headers, I'd have to do it inside the... I have to do it inside. This cannot be this. This has to be this. Because if I do it like that, it's not going to work. Then we do this. This. Inside here we have a div. And then we bada bing bada boom this. This. Right. And then it here. And then we run it. And now we go to the CSS. It's going to be dot containers with a width 600 pixel. Right, 620 20, and then it's going to be margin 0 auto. Now we run. It's in the middle. Looking good. Why is this part not in the middle? What happened to my nose? Jesus. Maybe the containers has to include this as well. So we do this. Control D. How do I select all the line here? Yes. I don't want it to include the footers. Maybe of this section is going to be included. This is a section. Still not convinced. What is that? Still not convinced. Wrap up this section inside a wrap up this section inside div. Div containers. Looking good, looking good.
Best shot and a div content. Now we do the same thing, so it's div and the same class.
Oh, it's inside the section. Inside the section. Yep. It's an image.
And then at the bottom of the section, we need to close the div. Have everything in once, and I'll just quickly do this.cs. That is 612 if we margin property. Now at the moment, it's still left aligned. If we stretch and we can this and better, but now our CSS is starting to look a bit disorganized. So we might take a look at that next. When you're ready, I'll see you in the next scrim.
CSS organization, new guys, new.
This layout that we're working on isn't going to be that big, but CSS files can get really long and can quickly become a nightmare to navigate. Now, we're not looking too bad so far, but why don't we take a moment to do just a little bit of organizing. Now, there's not one universally accepted way to organize.
This is good water. Good water.
Eyes or order
Delicious.
CSS. But what we should do is just think a little bit logically and use some comments to break up the CSS file so that other people who are reading our code are going to find it easier
Delicious.
to get to the selectors they need. So that's your challenge, to go through the CSS and divide it up into segments with comments. But I have put a warning here, don't use too many comments. If we have too much organization, there are comments all over the place, and it's not really helping. It's actually just making things more confusing. And because there's no right or wrong way to do this, I'm not going to dictate to you too much here, but I will say that you pretty much always have the general selectors like the body.
So guys, I will have to get lunch now, but we learned quite a lot about CSS today. But CSS I still think is like a wacky language. If I recommend people, beginners who just joined coding like me, I would, if I go back, I would definitely not take CSS. Instead, learn something like JavaScript. You master JavaScript, then you can do anything else. CSS is basically how good your Googling is, and like the only thing that is logical and you need to think about is flexbox, grid, something like that. Other than that, it doesn't feel like a logical language. It's just to look nice. And as you guys know, if it's only look nice and it's not functional, it's done. It's not good. Alright. And so we are about to finish. Not really about to, but we still have like, how long is this? It's probably like 2 hours. I think I did 2 hours here. 1 hour. Yeah, you have to add the time that I need to do some of the stuff that is require me to do, so I can practice my muscle memory. But other than that, we are pretty much, we are for 2 hours. So I only did 1 hour here and then another hour here. Let's go back in the afternoon and we will be doing some more CSS. Hello Sayok Sofudin. Oh my god, I cannot say name right. But guys, we are making some really good progress on this front-end career path. We are going to do, we have this. We are not halfway yet, but in the next 2 weeks I might be able to finish it if we cram in a lot of our times, sacrifice some of our time and do this. Yesterday my uncle visited me, so I have to take care of him. Has to sit down and drink and talk to him a lot of things. Yeah, family first. But hey, today I would be pretty much free, so I would finish probably this 2 and then 5, 6, 7, 8 probably for next week. Tomorrow I'm trying to finish this one or this one 2 hours, right? And then 8 hours is going to be a week. I know that because I did one course before, and it's usually 8 hours take a week. Why? Because you have to add on the time that I have to go and do some research. I have to do some trial errors, and then I have to do, what is it called, and I actually have to take the time to think and do the problem that they've given us. If we don't do it like that, after this course we would not be able to remember anything, nor putting the knowledge that we learned from the course into the real life problem. Right, guys, so we take it slow, but we move fast. But we take every single lesson slow, but we always have an idea of that we are moving fast so that we can finish it earlier. This course is supposed to take normal people, even if they study full-time, 3 months. And I have a challenge for us to do it in 4 weeks, because we already finished 1 week right here. This is from the last week, so we did here 5 hours, and then this one, another 3 hours is going to be finished today. This one is going to be finished tonight, hopefully finished tonight, and then this one is going to be for next week, or maybe I can finish it within 4 days. And we still have a lot to learn. This one probably take long because React is something we need to learn in able to get a job as a web developers. Right, so for now I will be offline for 1 hour, and then we will be back studying.